Okay, so over the course of us conducting department meetings, I've noticed that our behaviors are different. And I'm wondering if our behaviors are at a level to achieve what our desired outcomes are for our meetings. So I've noticed that this year, unlike previous years, we never came up with norms. So what I think we should do now is take a couple of minutes and come up with 3 norms based on what we see going on in our meetings now that we think would be 3 norms that we want to implement within the science department. So, Ms. JL is going to be our recorder. Okay.
But we're only writing 3, right?
For right now, we're going to
So
look
we
at
should
3.
discuss them, right?
Yes.
That's not
No,
it.
That's
a
not a
meeting norm.
Oh,
Like,
Oh, just protocol?
protocol. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Protocols for our meetings.
I was saying, I guess we need to be on time.
Okay. Be on
Y'all
time.
agree with that? Because we
Do we
need
have an
to
issue with
start-
time?
So
I mean,
punctual?
yeah, because I think that sometimes we run out of time at the end.
Because of not being there at the beginning. And we did set a time. So since we set a time, we need to hold a standard to that time. So Michelle can report our first.
Adhering to the time limit. Adhering to time schedule.
Preparedness, just having whatever you're supposed to have printed out. Lesson plans or whatever it is, activity.
Excuse me.
Okay, be prepared.
Not that I think we have a problem with it, but
Let's address this first before we go into that one. Hold that, don't lose that thought now. What does this mean for us? Monday, it means what? Because I think
learning
if
targets
we,
and
yeah.
assessments.
Okay, Monday, it means we have our learning targets and assessments.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Can we change that to Tuesday?
Did we, or you said can we?
I said, can we? Because, okay, for the simple fact is I don't get my lesson plans like when I'm supposed to. Like on Thursdays or over the weekend, they come in kind of late. So then I use Monday to go check them.
Okay.
And I don't have time to check them a lot until planning because we have the meeting in the morning. So that's why this week I definitely push it back to Tuesday. Is that okay?
So that can become our norm?
So Monday, we get,
While you're checking lesson plans, we could be working on our targets. Okay. So Monday, work on learning targets.
Thank you.
On Tuesday, we're gonna bring in our learning targets and assessments.
You ask for assessments too.
and they don't have to be formal.
Yes. Is there anything that we need to be prepared for on Wednesday, or is it Thursday, the next day of preparation?
What
Or
you mean?
Friday?
What you mean?
Like we do, tuning protocol on Thursday, be prepared for.
Is there something we're supposed to have done by Wednesday?
Uh-uh.
So that can be like, is there something we're supposed to have done by Thursday?
That's Thursday. Thursday is actually when I'm supposed to have lesson plans.
So, I mean, that maybe. a
Wednesday,
norm-
work on lesson plan.
So Wednesday, work on lesson plans.
Mhm.
I'll need to have some type of draft on Thursday. Work on
And Thursday, submit draft.
revised comments.
So now, what we're your third?
Oh, I was thinking during the meeting, I don't know if it's a problem of staying on task, staying on topic, subject. Sometimes you get sidetracked with other things that keep us from finishing what we need to finish.
Do you think that's an issue, or do you think everyone being engaged is an issue? What's an issue right now?
That's what I was asking. Which do you think staying on task is an issue?
Do we really get contribution from everybody during our meetings like we should?
I think it depends on days. I personally think it depends on days. Some days.
I think it depends on preparedness as well. If you ain't prepared, you don't say nothing.
Right. So what do we want to make it to our third one? What have you seen from a department chair standpoint as something that we need to set as a?
I guess it goes along with being engaged, but even if you aren't prepared, because I don't normally trip if you don't have it, but to make it seem like an issue that you don't have it, or if you still aren't contributing, that's a problem for me. So if I don't know how to
Just
say it.
contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, regardless of
Participate in the.
if you have your,
participate
things or
in
not.
the meeting. Yeah.
because I even believe Mr. Jones said that, even if we don't have these things, you can work on them in the meeting, because that's what it's for.
Be actively engaged.
Despite level of preparedness.
Yeah. We do need to add that caveat.
Yeah.
So, is that it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And nobody stopped you.
You come on in. Okay, so now what we're gonna do for these three norms. This first portion is just a check off. So we're gonna check off if it is something that we need to work on, if we have no problems, and then any comments we wanna make towards it. So, the first one is adhering to time. Is this something that we need to work on, or is this something that we don't currently really have a problem with?
I think we need to work on it.
Okay, so check that. Being prepared. What about being prepared? Definitely something we need to work on. And being actively engaged despite our level of preparedness.
Do you think you need to work on it?
And so then what comments can we make? And the comments can be things that we're doing good or things that we need to work on. Any comments to keep us cognizant of going back to the work we need to do.
I think this comes with prioritization, because I know a lot of times we don't come to meetings on time because it's like, oh, I gotta run to the office real quick, and that real quick turns into 20 minutes. Or I need to go ask Mr. Jones something, and it turned into 30 minutes. So, I don't know, because if it's something that could wait to the evening, I mean, after school, can it wait? But I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed. Since I'm the one that has to wait, is that it's like, oh, I'll be right back, I'll be right back, so.
So do you want to say making meetings a priority?
Yeah.
Or making planning time sacred on,
Yeah.
what, 2 days really,
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday?
I don't know how that's gonna work though, because it's like, if you make it sacred, I don't know how that's gonna go over with Mr. Jones.
What you mean?
Well, like today, you had no choice. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to go ask him something. It was more of he
And
called
typically
you.
he lets me know when, like I already knew what you about to do. So, I mean, that's typically no problem.
Okay.
Communicate then, or communication.
Yeah.
How one word it.
I would get adhering to schedule time. The only thing I heard was that we need to make it a priority
So,
when it, when,
I guess we all need to know, we need to know what we're supposed to do for each scheduled meeting for, based on the day that it's supposed to be, and be committed to actually doing what we're supposed to do for whatever day that it actually is.
So right now, what's this norm, what's inhibiting this norm is other things, right? So our comment could be handle non-meeting time issues
Outside of the meeting?
outside of meeting time.
Yeah.
So one thing we have to work on is just making sure that things that don't relate to our meeting are taken care of during times that is not gonna coincide with our meetings. Yeah. Anything else?
and so I guess when Mark brought up communication, one good thing is if we call to keep a class or something like that, that we know, because oftentimes you can.
Communicate uncontrollable situations.
Mhm. Of course, that's not a problem at all. That would go, under the problem section, because if you have to keep a class or you get called to do something else, that supersedes.
It's definitely an issue, yeah.
Hmm?
That right there, my first thought, just being honest, my first thought, once I get called to have to do that, it's like,
You can say no. I say no all the time. Then they call
like
you.
I'm in
Then they call you.
I feel like I'm in that position where I can, I feel like I'm in that position where I can.
But you may really be in that position
Yeah.
because of where you are. Because you need to be in the meeting. I don't know how to say this politely. So I feel like it's gonna come out not being polite, but you could say that you need to be in the meeting more than someone else needs to be there.
I agree.
So that could be your, especially on these 2 days here where they're expecting to see collaboration, or
Yeah.
she's expecting to look at our lesson plans to see that you and I have the same
Right,
thing.
yeah.
On these days, you can say,
You need to-
I can because of expectations of me.
And like,
Cause it's real hard for us to collaborate.
and when she's calling, a lot of times he doesn't know. So
Oh,
you have
okay.
you have every right to say no, because actually, in actuality, if he knew that this was one of our scheduled meeting days, he wouldn't force you to hold anybody's class. He would tell them to get somebody else. Anyway.
Yeah, he would.
So you have every right to say no. And it's been several days. They called down now and said nobody can come, and she just said okay, and she keeps moving. So you have every single right to say no. And then some days I don't mind, and I go.
Okay, what about our be prepared? Do you think we're doing good?
Like last week we were prepared.
So we're inconsistent with our
Yeah.
levels of preparedness. Are there any things that affect when we are and when we're not?
I don't know. I
Like
think it's
being
personal.
out, yeah, like
think it's
being
personal.
out for me. I was out Thursday, Friday, and then I was out Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, and it puts you, that gets you behind when you're out all those days, and you kind of get off track with what you're doing. You have to restructure your class when you come back for what they did and didn't do while you were gone. You typically don't master everything you do for them and whatnot.
Mhm.
What about focus on also sharing the workload where it can be shared? Because if you would have never brought up that test the other day, then I would have made a test too. And now we're doing double work for a common assessment. So make sure we collaborate so that maybe some of this we're getting backed up on because we're doing work we don't have to, have to do. What you think, Ms. Moore? Anything you observe looking in from the outside?
With that one, consistency in I didn't know y'all collaborated.
Which is
That's
sure
the problem.
Yeah. So what about being actively engaged despite the level of preparedness?
Where would it fit? I think us, how do you say, like being, I want to say like a close-knit department. I'm not so sure other departments have that kind of family atmosphere that we have. And so we're actively engaged. In other words, if he's not actively engaged, you could say, hey, what's up? Yeah, what's going on with you? What about
So
you?
that can be a positive.
Yeah,
And we
we could talk, yeah.
I don't know, we respect each other enough to call each other out.
I don't know how you say that. Yeah. Mm. Oh, yes. So I was thinking about,
What prevents engagement?
I think so.
For me, it does.
For me, like,
Definitely for me.
if I feel like I got something, I'm not so much engaged.
I would say a
Like I'm starting to
positive
add up.
would be, like, we encourage, being actively engaged, we encourage other people to say things or to contribute, in the group. Cause you know how some people, they don't say anything, they don't think that what they say is gonna be valued, or what they say is
I think that's a problem
gonna be
here.
significant. That's what I said, is that a positive? Positive?
I think y'all are more engaged when y'all are sharing resources with each other.
Mhm.
So what our next step from this, and we can do this at our next meeting, is to pick one of our norms to work on and create an action plan for actually making it happen.
More engagement.
And whenever it's like over
Share
this lesson, I know
So we'll create an action plan for number 2.
The other ones are important, but yeah, that right there, I think that will solve a lot of other issues that we have, maybe.
You can stop it now.